Hey guys, and welcome back to Franchise Nation. I'm your host, Moonlightswami, and today I'm bringing you guys the playoff preview. I am stoked, I am hyped, I am prepared for the postseason. We do have a bye, but we will see who our next opponent is. I'll show you guys the Wildcard Round results in a minute. But let's start things off in the NFC West. Taking a look at who made the playoffs, the Seahawks made it at 11-5, Cardinals at 9-7. Unfortunately, Wesley Ripkowski and the Rams ended at 8-8. We'll take a look and see why. In the NFC East, the Cowboys made it 9-7. Eagles and Giants both missed at 8-8. In the NFC South, the Saints made it at 14-2, obviously. And Buccaneers 10-6, Falcons 8-8, Panthers 5-11. And in the North, Packers make it at 8-8. So weird dichotomy there. Raiders win the division 9-6-1. Chiefs win a wild card spot at 9-7. Chargers miss out because of that tie. AFC East, the Patriots clinched long ago at 9-7. Titans 11-5, Colts 9-6. Texans and Jaguars both missed the playoffs despite being 500 or better, or over 500. And the Browns go 12-4, and the Bengals at 9-7 missed the playoffs as well. So talk about a tough task for some of these teams. There were, 4 teams over 500 who didn't make the playoffs. That's crazy. Taking a look at the stats for the Saints coming in, Michael Wong ends the season with 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Easily the best season of Wong's young career. Year 3, he cut down on those interceptions pretty sizably. Ends up with his second most passing yards, second most touchdowns. He's been right around that 30 mark. So he's averaging 30 touchdowns a season. Sacked probably around the same amount. Less pass attempts this year. And while his completion percentage is going down, his yards per attempt jump back up. And Wong as a whole had a really good season. I mean, really good. 23 carries for 133 yards. He did have some fumbles, but he cut down on those as well. Let's keep looking. Hanks had a decent performance in his only action. Rakeem Blackman, 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4 fumbles, but he's cleaned those up for the most part, knock on wood. Tavio Hoyt, 242 yards, only 34 carries. That's 7.1 yards per attempt. He had a couple big runs. That huge run last week against Carolina helped us a lot. Darius Jackson, 62 for 202. Really not that spectacular. He was in on third downs, but he wasn't that good for us. Receiving, DeAndre Hopkins, 72 for 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. Clemens, 56 for 836 and 5 scores. Edens, 54 for 603. Michael Thomas getting involved. Blackman with almost 40 receptions. Hastings had 2 touchdowns. Maxey had 2 touchdowns, etc. Trey Laster, 6 for 109. And the only player who didn't get a reception was Antoine Whiting. In terms of blocking, taking a look, Roman Kalu ends the season with 10 sacks allowed. Trayvon Kraft 8, Ragland 8, Armstead 7, Stuvance 2 in only 43 snaps, and David Krenzel 2 on the season. Hunter Hochstein played very well for us, by the way, in Week 17. Taking a look at the defense, Chad Houston ends the way with 143 tackles. Larimore 95, Schillens 93, Jocqua Fassitt 82, Wes Pitta 80, etc. Shad Houston also had 20 tackles for a loss. Schillens 18, Rankins 11, Tracy 9, Grice 7, 6 for Pitta. Sacks 19 for Wes Pitta, 18 for Schillens, 12 for Rankins, 9.5 for the rookie ace Tracy, 6.5 for Melvin, 3.5 for Houston, 3 for Bradbury, 2.5 for Waynes, etc. Interceptions, 5 for Fassitt, 4 for Larimore, 3 for Waynes, 2 for Yates, 1 for Melvin, 1 for Houston, 1 for William Jackson III. And forced fumbles, 4 for Pitta, 3 for Schillens, 2 for Tracy, 2 for Moreland. And then the safety count, we've had 1 for Melvin, and touchdowns we've had plenty. 2 for Larimore, 2 for Waynes, 1 for Schillens, 1 for Yates, 1 for Houston, 1 for Bradbury. Also, lastly, Will Lutz, 52 for 53 on point afters, 45 for 45 on field goals. Javier Moran, 24 punts inside the 20. That's crazy. Darius Jackson had a big return but got pushed out of bounds once. Antoine Whiting, 1,100 yards. and a touchdown. Devontae Short, and only 2 punt returns, has a punt return touchdown as well. So Wesley Ripkowski had a good season. He ends up pretty much doing well. 17 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, 64%. Played 803 snaps. He did get hurt. Matt Ryan did fill in for him afterwards, but Ripkowski played well in his first full season as a starter. Just needs to be better moving forward. Around the league, Brody Cochran leads the way in passing yards, followed by Blake Bortles, Andrew Luck, Dak Prescott, Dalton, Hartsock, Winston, Brady, Goff, Wong. I mean, Wong would have probably been number 2 had he played in Week 17 or played any amount of snaps, period. Max Boyle leads the NFL in touchdowns at 39 passing touchdowns. Dalton 32, Winston 31, Goff 31, Wong 30. Considering how good he was, Dalton and Winston both were phenomenal, but Wong was really quite good this year. I mean, the way he stacks up with these other quarterbacks is quite impressive, and he really turned it on late in the season. In terms of rushing, Blackman leads the way in yards, safe lead over Jaden Fluker, Todd Gurley, Jarvis Cochran, etc. Touchdowns, that goes to Melvin Gordon, though. Isaac Pinner with 15, Crowell with 14, Zeke with 14, etc. Who had the most fumbles? Well, Jaleel Biakubitaka from the Houston Texans had 8. Derrick Henry with 7, Theo Riddick with 6. Receiving, well, we don't lead the way in terms of receptions. That's Dante Moncrief with over 100 receptions, Darren Strickland, Cooper, etc. Yardage, we do see DeAndre Hopkins on this list, but at best he probably would have been around second. Amari Cooper with almost 1,500 yards. McElrath with 13. Chris Conley, 1,200. Julio, 1,200. Hopkins, 1,200. Touchdowns, 12 for Keenan Allen, 12 for Keir Newkirk, 11 for Conley, 11 for Hopkins, 11 for Justin Hardy. Not bad. Who is the revolving door in the NFL? It's Taylor Decker, LaRaven Clark, Rayvon Gaffney, Marcel Bullard, poor guy, Taylor Lewan, all with 20 or more sacks allowed. On to tackles and the defensive stats. We'll start with the AFC. Mosley, 140. McCree, 137. Hightower, 130. Darren Lee, 130. Tackles for a loss, 25 for Khalil Mack. 20 for Wilkerson. 20 for Richardson. That's crazy. Sack totals, 23.5 for Mack. 22.5 for Watt. 15.5 for Armstead. 15.5 for Casey. Some big numbers there. Aaron Wilkins, 13.5. Cameron Jordan, 13.5. Emerson, 7 picks. Peter, 7 picks. Okay. And on to the NFC. We'll start off with the tackles again. 162 for Sam Holochek, followed by Deion Buchanan and Shad Houston at 143. Whitehead, Bowman, Ogletree next. Tackles for a loss, it's Houston, then Schillens, then Case and Justice, Othamon Creef, Linval Joseph, Daniels, etc. Sacks, that is Wes Pitta, followed by Olivier Vernon, followed by Schillens, followed by Ansa. Interceptions, 6 for Pat Pete, 6 for Deion Jones, 5 for Fassitt, 5 for Matthew, 5 for Trevathan, 5 for Sanchez McNeil. And that pretty much rounds out all of the stats that we should care about. Taking a look at the wild card round, the Chiefs knock off the Raiders. Let's go! Let's go! Chiefs knocking off the Raiders. We don't have to deal with them. Obviously, the Chiefs are still a threat to us because of how good Rashawn Traylor is, but I can't complain. I'm glad that we don't have to face them again, because the Raiders have been an eternal thorn in my side. After that, we have the Cardinals smoking the Cowboys, 45-28. Max Boyle, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Parker Leroy also had a touchdown. Dak Prescott, a really good game offensively, just didn't get enough going. And who was the big performer? Des Bryant, Michael Floyd, etc. Not bad. Not bad at all. How about after that? Colts, Patriots. It seems like this is Tom Brady's final game, and it was a 14-point comeback from Andrew Luck that won them the game. 267, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Brady played well in his 21st season. Morgan Gilraith getting involved. Julian Edelman, Gronk. That's too bad. See the box score? They were up 17-14. Actually, so it was a 3-point comeback, but still, 14 unanswered points in the fourth just sucks. And lastly, the Buccaneers and the Packers. The Packers won in overtime over the Buccaneers, so Our division rival is done. McAllister had a really good game. So did Rodgers. It'll be interesting to see who we face. I think we're facing off against the Cardinals this time around. But if we win, it'll be interesting to see if we end up facing the Packers or the Seahawks. So let's take a look at the divisional. It's Chiefs at Browns, Cardinals at Saints, Colts at Titans, Packers at Seahawks. So let's take a look at the injuries for these 8 teams. We are still without John Hastings for one more week. Trey Waynes will be out for 2. Vidal Grice out for season. Nick Foles could come back if needed, but we're not going to need him. The Seahawks are without Bobby Wagner, Akeem Spence, and Derwin Bullock for at least up until the Super Bowl, which is kind of crazy. After that, we're going to take a look at the Browns. They're without Joel Bitonio, Jaleel Bellamy, Andrew McGill, and Marcel Bullard. So those are some big blows to them, but not the end of the world. The Cardinals are only without Cedric Minter. That's their only injury, and he's only going to be out for one more week. After that, we take a look at the Chiefs, who are only without Devontae McCullers. The Colts have no injuries, lucky them. And we'll take a look at the Packers. Packers are only without Derrick Henry. And the Titans. The Titans are without Denora Searcy, Kevin Dodd, Devontae Adams, and Mike Martin. So that's pretty scary. Let's take a look at the overall roster for the Arizona Cardinals, our opponent this week. Cardinals are scary because Max Boyle is scary. Out of Penn State, he is a stud. He's fast. He can throw. Very accurate short. The mobile aspect of him is what makes him probably the most scary. Parker Leroy is his backup. David Johnson, ridiculously talented player. Malcolm June back there. Michael Floyd, John Brown, Tevin Hills, Darius Crutchfield, and Darian Melton have some pretty good weapons. Gresham and Evan Duff is solid, though. Veld here is good. Upati is good. McFadden's good. Pete's decent. Wilhelm is pretty solid. Chandler Jones and Mdici, 2 very dangerous forces. Peter DeMarco, excellent player. McAllister, stud up the middle. Devondre Campbell has some speed to him, but not that good. Deion Buchanan, same deal. Jordan Hicks, good coverage linebacker. Matthew Judon, Jarvis Jones, etc. But here's where they get scary. Pat Pete, Sanchez McNeil, Julius Cooley, DJ Gilbert. A lot of ball hawks in their secondary. Tyrann Mathieu, Devin McCourty, and Tony Jefferson, followed by Foloi Griffin. Hauschka is their kicker, and Jacob Shum is their punter. So this is going to be a tough task. It is our 4th opportunity at the postseason. We are currently 0-3 since taking over the team in the postseason, so let's see if we can turn it around. This game will be coming to you guys tomorrow. I'm Moonlightswami, and I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace!